We got packages from Amazon. We're almost ready. We're almost ready. Let's see what we got here. We got detailing duo, foam swivel gun and foam cannon. We've got this one is the 40 degree. Yeah, 40 degree rinse nozzle with Teflon tape. We've got Chemical Guys, pressurized, full function, atomizer and pump sprayer. And we've got Brake Buster Total Wheel Cleaner. The other day, I went over to Home Depot and picked up my order that was available and ready. And that consisted of the pressure washer. I got the pressure washer and these Ryobi pressure washer quick connect upgrade kit. So we're gonna go quick connect on all the hoses and attachments. And here's the pressure washer and everything falling. Here's a pressure washer. Oh, and I got these two drying towels, these big drying towels. These came in from Amazon too the other day early. So we got drying towels. I'm debating on whether or not I'm gonna do an electric blower for drying. But this is the pressure washer. And you know, the store pickup, this is how Home Depot treats you. They give you the busted box that obviously I wouldn't have chosen myself if I grabbed it off the shelf. But that's kind of why I bought it. It's cheap. It's Home Depot, and I can always return it. Simpler and easier than shipping it back to wherever I got it, where my other consideration would have been a Clean Garage Stage 5, I believe, with an active 2.0 and a hose reel and all that. I'm coming in far cheaper with this setup, and I got a better pressure washer hose coming, which I don't remember exactly which one it is, but it's green and it's supposed to have less kinks. So I got the pressure washer, I got 50 feet of hose, I got quick connects, I got drying towels, I got the pressurized pump sprayer, the brake buster, the 40 degree nozzle, and the McKillen gun and foam cannon bottle. Far less expensive than the setup from Clean Garage. Granted, it's a completely different setup and no retractable wind up hose reel, but for what I'm gonna do and how I'm gonna do it, I think it's gonna be fine. We're being frugal here. We're trying to save money, right? Well, sort of. Because oftentimes I get asked the question of, is the C8 Z06 worth the extra over a Stingray? And well, I guess the short answer is it kind of depends, and it just depends on you. I test drove a Stingray and I really liked it. And then I test drove a Z06 and I liked it even more. So I bought the Z06. There was actually a video on YouTube. I'll see if I can find it. And it was a Z06 owner, and he made it pretty clear that it would be worth it. And I don't think you can go wrong with a Stingray, a Z06, an E-Ray, or ZR1, a ZR1X. I don't think you can go wrong as far as performance goes and value, sort of. However, the enjoyment I get from what's behind me and the enjoyment that I get from that creation there, I think is well worth the money. And I was watching you drag, and I thought it was kind of funny. Like, I was gonna make a video and say, like, there's just something about this calming feel and sensation and idea of driving your Z06, your C8 Z06, knowing you'll never get gapped. Now, granted, this isn't entirely true, but for the most part, we're pretty safe out there on the road as far as, you know, competition that may exist. And I went to U-Drag's leaderboard, and it took, I don't know how many kilowatts of batteries and at least 6 turbos, I think, and probably millions of dollars between a Taycan Visec GT, a Tesla Model S Plaid, a Lucid Air Sapphire, a McLaren 765 LT or McLaren 750 or 720, and a Porsche 911 Turbo S to beat the C8 Z06, which apparently is plummeting in value, and C8 Z06 owners are panicking. I gotta tell you guys, I'm not one of them. And I'm not entirely sure that C8 Z06 values are plummeting from a standpoint of the one that you really like, which mine happens to be this 2023 Hypersonic Metallic Gray. Is it Hypersonic Metallic Gray? 3LZ with front axle lift. I mean, maybe there's some 1LZs out there, newer 1LZs out there for less money, but I was 2LZ or better. Like, I didn't want a 1LZ, and I wanted a front axle lift, and I didn't buy it new. So, you know, based on how it was spec'd for the used market is what it is. But I'm seeing some numbers out there, some Z06 options and variants in low 100s. Which is amazing when you think about it from the opportunity of being able to get into one. And I don't think you can go wrong with a C8 Z06 at 100K, but you know, there are other options out there where you can get up to 150, probably at the max, and still realize that it's going to take a 911 Turbo S, a McLaren 750 or better, a high-powered dual motor or tri-motor EV to beat you in a U-Drag for far more money, except for Tesla Model S Plaid, which I don't know anyone in their right mind who would say to themselves, man, I really love the way my Tesla Model S Plaid sounds when I fire it up. I really love the way my Tesla Model S Plaid cold start, you know, really gets me going. Yeah, I don't think so. But like I said, I think there's a little bit of explanation we need to have here, especially from the perspective of, is it worth it? I don't think a C8 ZR1 is worth $500,000. I just watched Speed Phenom, and he was talking about this. And yeah, sure, dealers are asking for it, but will they ever get it? Regardless, the fact that they're asking for it seems a little bit ridiculous. Comparing it to a Ford GT, for which, correct me if I'm wrong, but the Ford GT was MSRP'd at $500,000. These dealerships are trying to tack on more than the car is actually worth on top of the car to reach this $500,000. You want to compare Mustang GTDs? Yeah, I get it. I understand it. But the Ford GT, I think, falls into a completely different category. And we haven't even gotten to a ZR1X yet. How much do they think they're going to ask and charge for that? Me personally, the extra cost over a Stingray to a Z06, well worth it. Did I pay too much for mine? Maybe. I don't fucking know. Am I worried about it? No. Am I upside down? I don't care. And am I going to get my money out of it when I go to sell it? Couldn't fucking tell you, because I ain't planning on selling it. I'm planning on driving the shit out of it and enjoying it. But to anybody out there considering a C8 ZR1, I mean, granted, I haven't driven one. I drove a C8 Stingray. I really liked it. I decided I wanted to buy one. I drove a C8 Z06, this one. I really liked it. I decided to buy it. Maybe if I drove a C8 ZR1, I would have the same feeling and maybe try to go buy one of those. But at $200,000 to $250,000, consideration at over 500 grand, hard fucking pass. Hell no. Are you smoking crack? Sadly, I hate that this is where we are. I don't think that GM should allow this to occur. It's not necessarily the manufacturer's fault. The dealerships are doing this and, you know, it's kind of fucked up, but much like I wouldn't at the same time and didn't pay a markup to buy one of these when they came out new. And in fact, I thought I would never, ever own one because of how much they were charging on top of just to get a C8 Z06. I was pleasantly surprised to see that the original purchasers ate that one. They bit off that one. You know, they lost their ass on that one. And when it was time for me to get one, it was exactly where it needed to be. Maybe that's where we see ZR1s in the future, but who knows? Who knows where we even see ZR1Xs coming in. And maybe, just maybe, we can see a future where manufacturers sell directly to consumer, kind of like Tesla, removing the middleman, especially for some of these. But then it's like, well, how did Ford manage the Ford GT program so well with an invite buyer only? Like, what is going on with GM and the C8 Z0 or ZR1? That's what I'd like to know. Or maybe I'd like to know what you guys think. What do you think about C8 Z06 prices? Where they're dropping, dealer incentives, total volume of production. And what do you think about C8 ZR1s? Their asking price. But also, I've seen a few people, granted, we assume that everyone on the internet is telling us the truth, saying that they only paid 50,000, 100,000 over sticker, you know, to be first movers, early recipients, the first to hit YouTube and hopefully recoup that money on ad revenue. Maybe, maybe not. Odds are the people with that kind of money don't need it. The people with that kind of money can afford it. You got to think, you're not going to walk into a dealership looking to buy a $250,000 car, hoping that the bank approves you for the loan and then approves you for the percentage over what Kelley Blue Book or Black Book or whatever book you're using would even value the car at if it were a total loss. So you got to go into this thinking you're going to pay cash, an exorbitant, tremendous amount of cash. And if you're in that position, then odds are you're probably going to be looking to buy one of the 6 vehicles that ranks above a C8 Z06 on UDRAG's list that begin with the letter McLaren, right? Or at the very least, Porsche. Yeah, I know. It's a word, not a letter. But then, where do we see a C8 ZR1 or a C8 ZR1X fall on Edmunds' UDRAG list? I don't know. I'm super excited. I'm glad I got this one in my garage. I freaking love it. It's not a ZR1. It's not a ZR1X. It's a Z06. Prices are changing. Prices are fluctuating. It is what it is. You only live once. Might as well enjoy it, right?